Hello everybody, how are you guys? This video is going to be a little introduction to the city of Alhambra, a community spotlight. On the city of Alhambra, we're doing a bunch of videos on towns and communities east of LA, the San Gabriel Valley, and east of that. And Alhambra plays a major role in that area, guys. It's got a long history. It was part of that whole San Gabriel mission group of farms and ranchos that made up the area, and over time it has just become more and more popular. And today, 400,000 or 500,000 people live in Alhambra, and they drive into Los Angeles every day. Almost nobody goes the other way, and they all leave at the same time. They go out in a big blob. And they all know each other from being in the same communities, growing up together, playing softball, playing soccer. And they go out together, driving into LA like a big blob on the freeways. And in fact, they're known as the Alhambra Clot. And what that refers to is, if you look down at it from an aerial view, you'll see a huge, massive cars, all the Alhambra people riding together, driving together, waving to each other from their cars, laughing. But what happens is, since they leave at the same time to drive into Los Angeles, and they don't go anywhere else. They drive into the LA area, okay? So they're heading west on the freeways from Alhambra. And if you look at it from the sky, it looks like a giant, it looks like a snake eating a rat. And the big blob of cars is moving and expands the freeway. So some people are driving off the actual freeway itself, off the shoulder, through the yards, through the businesses, driving on rooftops. But they don't really care, because everybody in Alhambra sticks together. It's a very close-knit community. And they'll drive in to commute together, and creating chaos, planks and boards and fence posts flying everywhere. But they love it. And the funny thing is, they do it on the way home too. They'll get off of work, and of course there's different shifts, so there's different blobs, but nonetheless, when the different shifts are over in various companies and businesses and organizations, they'll head home together, laughing and cheering. And you know, they have a whole cheer, Alhambra, Alhambra. And they'll throw that, because the weather's fairly nice in LA most of the year. They'll keep the windows down, they'll throw the tops down on the convertibles, and they'll, you know, toss a soccer ball back and forth. Some people will get on the back of the hoods of the cars, on the hoods or on the trunks, kicking the ball back and forth. Soccer being a big part of the community there, okay? Or if you prefer proper football or British football or world football, however you want to say it. So that gives you a context of Alhambra, the close-knit community. And the thing is, like a lot of the cities in LA, they have a secret handshake. And I'm going to share it with you now, but if you meet a local, you're going to have to give them the old handshake. And it stems from their love of soccer and the corner kick. So what you do is you back up. If you've ever seen a corner kick on TV, it's where they place the ball in the corner of the field, and one of the players backs up and gives it a big boot and curls it into the playing area, and hopefully somebody will head the ball into the net, or a defender will grab it, depending on whose side you're on. Well, that's the secret handshake in Alhambra. You back up and you kick each other in the shin. Now, it doesn't have to be hard. And in fact, if you do it too hard, they're going to kick you out of the city. But if you give it the old, the vigorous tap of the shin bones, well, man, you're on the inside, okay? They know that you're a local, that you're cool, that you're going to fit in and be of asset to the community. But don't come in there kicking, breaking people's bones. The first bone you break, they're going to bounce you out of Alhambra. You're going to end up down in Carson or somewhere, okay? So if you want to fit in and be a part of the community, and you should, because it's a great community, a lot of people love living there, then that's what you want to do. So Alhambra has a very strong Catholic background, okay? So remember that the whole area was part of Mexico and was transferred to the United States after the Mexican-American War. They won what is really Alta California, but it was what, New Mexico and Arizona and Alta California, basically. And so a lot of land, and Alhambra, what they also got is a long, deep devotion to the Catholic faith. And what that means is a very strict, rigorous education based on corporal punishment. So, for example, if you're in a Catholic school in the area and you're learning your ABCs and you go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, I, J. Oh, you missed the H. If you miss the H, well, what they're going to do is they're going to take a big rubber band and they're going to snap it. One of the nuns is going to snap it onto your knuckles. And because you're a little kid, they're not going to quite get out the boards and pieces of wood that they're going to later when you're older. But if you're a little kid, they're going to snap your knuckles with that rubber band. Now, it doesn't hurt really anybody. But what they're doing is they're getting you used to the Catholic way. And the Catholic way is you stay in line, you get in line, or you're going to get wrapped with something on the knuckles. Now, I don't know why the knuckles became I guess because you're in school, your hands are out, and it's easy for a ninja nun to walk up behind you with the ruler or a piece of wood or a pipe, or sometimes they use broomsticks. I've seen them use light poles, street lamps, anything they can conceal in their cloaks there, their habits. And I think they use the knuckles because it's easy to come up from behind you as a student and surprise attack you. But that way they don't have to get you to stand up, hit you on the butt, or whatever it is. Now that might be it's shins, or it's all in the hands. I don't know what it is. I mean, whole generations of Catholics have broken knuckles, broken hands, broken wrists from being cracked by nuns for decades. From the time they were 4 years old to the time they graduated from some Catholic university, grad school at the age of 24. So they go into the working world and they can't even type on a computer and advance in a technologically oriented world because their hands are all gnarled. And, a knowing, very astute human resources officer will be able to walk by and go, Catholic school, right? And they'll a lot of times they'll say 2 decades. And they have that look of fear in their eyes, and they're also a little jittery and snapping their gum real fast. So Alhambra, I'm not saying that's the only thing that's going on in Alhambra, but remember, it has a very deep and rich Catholic background, heritage that goes back hundreds of years. We're talking about that whole area. The San Gabriel Archangel mission was one of the first in California. And so that's what, 1770s, I think, right back in there. And now it was also one of the biggest missions. They had a roller rink, like I said. They had a bicycle velodrome. They had a football field, soccer field, a big old dance floor. And, of course, they had the stadium seating, much like the Coliseum near the University of Southern California, the USC. And they could accommodate concerts, right? So they had a lot of the early rock and rollers coming through there. But they also had Tejano bands and, a lot of Hispanic music. Los Tigres del Norte came through there and did a show, and a lot of them. So, guys, if you like a community-oriented place, if you want to raise your kids in a community that has a emphasis on education, on clean drinking water, on dancing in the streets, commuting into work together as a big group, 400,000 or 500,000 people live in the community, and at least 300,000 or 400,000 of them drive to work together, creating havoc on the roads and freeways as they sing and dance on their way into work. Because the thing is, it's the joy of life. They love life. They love Alhambra, and that's why they have the Alhambra cheer as they go into work, and as they come home, they got the Alhambra cheer as well. They'll just break it out. In fact, sometimes you'll be at work and all the Alhambra people will just start cheering, Alhambra, Alhambra, right? And you're like, wow, these people love their city, they love their community. And if that's the positive environment you want to live in, you should give it a try. Well, guys, that's just a quick spotlight on Alhambra, another great community in the San Gabriel Valley with a rich and long history in LA. We've got so many more videos. We're going to get into a lot of the popular music that's based on Alhambra, movies that were shot there, a lot of the big celebrities and athletes and entertainers that were born there, and we'll come back for more.